And we are live on YouTube.
Woo! I just want to say that I still consider Salem's Lot the high mark.
What?
I can't disagree with you, Alicia.
Wait, you like Salem's Lot more than The Shining?
We are live on YouTube.
I disagree hard.
All right, well, here we go. Let's get into it. So,
Let's go. Real talk.
all right, let's go around the room. So, Alicia, you might as well start. What was your overall thought of the book?
Okay, so one, I really felt that and I know that it was a different time in the world, but I dislike how often the N-word was used in this book. And the fact that this poor guy, like, has his own gifts and abilities, gets the F out of there for winter, and then comes back to save this little white boy. And like, I did like that part of the storyline. And then I was also really disturbed that one of the monsters says that they're going to eat a little boy, starting with his chubby little penis.
I mean, it happens. Did you have you not seen the second? No, not the movie The Shining. The second part, the Dr. Sleep one. The black gentleman has a very large role.
I know. I looked up him in the Stephen King universe. Whew, mixing things up. To see kind of like if he was going to come back, and I was really scared that he was dead at one point, and I didn't want to finish it if he had died. And I found out that he died in the movie, not in the book. And yeah, I felt like this book spent a lot of time like ramping things up, and then just plunges you down and then doesn't know how to land. Like the actual part of the book that I thought it was going to spend time exploring was zoomed past, and we just spent all this time building up. It's like, I don't know.
I mean, we've talked previously about Stephen King's circling the airport.
Well, no, but like he spent all the time at the beginning setting all these things up and then rushed through the actual action of the book when stuff's really happening, and then spends time winding it down. It's like the one part of the book where I feel like he should spend time, he spent zero time. And that's fair. Also with the N-word. Remember, it's 1977. I know, but it's still made me uncomfortable. Stephen King is quite possibly the most woke human in America.
I will say that I agree that there was kind of that whole trope of like the magic black man coming to save the white family. Like that is definitely there. And I mean, I haven't read The Green Mile, but like if you watch the movie, it's even like heavier there. So it's definitely like something that Stephen King might need to work through, but like he is a very woke human. That didn't bother me as much, but I had a completely different reaction. I liked the book a lot because I actually don't like the movie. And I like scary movies a lot, and I've watched.
Evan's got feelings.
Yeah, he's rolling his eyes. Okay, so the movie, I shouldn't say I don't like it. I don't think it lives up to the hype that a lot of people have. And the things that I disliked about the movie are not in the book, and the book does like much better. So I went in with like a lower expectation. It's kind of like if you love a book and then you go see the movie and you're like, what the hell? Yeah. It was the reverse. And for a lot of that is like, so Salem Lot, we talked a lot about how it's kind of like an ensemble book. There's a lot of different points of view, lots of things happening. Clearly there's less cast in this book, and it's very internal. And I liked that a lot. I really liked getting in the mindset. And one of the biggest differences for me between this and the Shining movie was that right from the onset of the movie, Jack is kind of like dialed up to 11. He's like on the brink of insanity already, as to where in the book, I felt like you saw that transition into insanity a lot. And so I really liked that. My biggest problem with the book actually was trying to believe that Danny was a 5-year-old. Like, come on now. He was talking like a 45-year-old.
Yeah.
But but overall, this is the best Stephen King book I've read so far, I think.
So I will go back to Alicia, and my thought process is that Salem's Lot is a better book. However, I do love The Shining. I do love the movie. I actually thought Dr. Sleep was dog shit more so, which is the sequel that he wrote 30 years later. It's a newer book. although I enjoyed The Shining, and I don't, yeah, Stephen King will definitely. It's not the only book where you'll hear the N word a million times. Like he'll definitely sink into a subject a little bit and make you feel weird about it. But I think that's what he's trying to do. I think he's trying to make you feel weird about it. But anyway, Evan, what did you think of the book?
Again, I'm on board with Alicia. This is one of those odd situations where watching the movie first prevented me from enjoying the book. I enjoy a lot of Stephen King. I enjoy not so much horror, but I enjoy thriller slash sci-fi type stuff that he has done. But once you get into, the topiary, am I saying that right? And the hedge animals and, a lot of stuff that are just kind of made up, could make up on the fly. I'm not saying it isn't, inventive, imaginative. It's just there's something about I think of Stephen King and I think of The Shining and It. But when I think of The Shining, I think of Kubrick and the movie. And I feel the realism, I guess, for lack of a better word, that he put in the movie made me really enjoy it. Like seeing the insanity without all of the supernatural effects of it. Everything seemed to be inside the head and not actually happening. And I felt like the book dragged. I think by page 370, it just starts to drag, and it's just there were parts that I like, but I couldn't stop thinking about Scatman Crothers as Hallerman, and trying to not think of Nicholson and gosh, who played Wendy, his wife, whoever it is, Olive Oil.
Yeah.
That one. Yeah, but they even described her as having blonde hair, but I still kept on thinking about those characters. So overall, I like Salem's a lot better. I think it was a simpler book. It was less complex, I believe. But again, I could be soured based off of Kubrick, and I'll blame it on him.
I think to me, one of the big differences between the two was, I guess, how they handle the supplemental material. Like Salem's Lot, you still had, if I'm remembering correctly, I could just be completely talking out my ass right now. You still had a lot of Salem's Lot seemed more put together. Like it seemed like it was better planned, and it wasn't like rushed through at parts. And that what he did bring in from like newspaper clippings and things seemed more naturally woven in, whereas in this one you had long sections of like exposition on like the history of the Overlook, which I get were important to like establishing the hauntings, but like they definitely took you out of the flow of the story, and I think that's part of what made it feel long.
I really enjoyed those parts.
And I'll agree with you on that one, Meg. I just like my favorite character in the book is the hotel itself.
Yeah, and I loved that concept that not only is it a haunted house story, but like the house itself is a character. I thought that was really interesting. I really liked too how, I know Evan, you talked about like in the movie there's this concept that like, or it's played with a little bit, is are the monsters real or is this all in our head? And there's still like a small chance that could be in the book, but it's not really. It's like pretty clear that these are actual monsters and this is happening. And so I don't know. I kind of liked that it was like the tangible monsters, and like if you close your eyes, they're going to go away, but that's not always like truly the case. It just made me feel like, I don't know. I just really liked the whole, like, if you look into it and the concept of memory and all of that, like, I just thought that there were really strong, like, cool themes within this one that it just felt more internal to me than Salem's Lot, like more like looking in on yourself a lot.
Sure.
See, for me, I didn't get the concept of the hotel being a character until everything was coming together. So I didn't feel like he played up enough with the hauntings actually telling the story of the hotel, and leaned far too much on Jack. Is that the guy's name?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, of Jack reading the newspaper clippings to tell those stories. And I thought it could be like, I think it would have been cooler to have them stumbling more upon these things and discovering them more organically rather than him sitting down with a scrapbook.
I think this is my feeling with Stephen King, is that in these, you're definitely seeing the dichotomy between him writing the more traditional mystery thriller novel, which I think he's the best that's ever done that, versus the weird supernatural, which is odd because the weird supernatural ones are what made him famous. And then to me, the mystery thriller ones are way better. So I think you're seeing that in some of these weird ones, like even the ending of It, right? When we get to It, where I'm just like, that, what the fuck happened? Like, how did we get to this? Right? So like, I think a lot of these with the weird supernatural ones, it just gets weird. They get weird. And the mystery thriller ones are amazing. And I think you'll see that as we move through the books more.
I like the concept too of what King said about like how much he saw himself in Jack, and like how, you know, like after staying at the hotel in Colorado and like he stayed in that room number, and then that night he had a dream about his son being chased down the hallway by like a fire hose, and it started, but at that point he was struggling with alcoholism, and he said he was like really upset with his family and his kids, like I'm not trying to say like he was going to murder his family or anything like that, but I just liked this idea that he, like, I felt like part of the reason that it felt so internal and so much like looking inward was the fact that he himself was like trying to work through some stuff through it. And I know that that's like very much like an outside force impacting how you feel about the book, just like a lot of how I feel about the book is impacted by the movie. But that made me appreciate it a little bit more, like that there was another layer to unpack there.
I agree.
Yeah, I think all three characters, all three main characters, having trauma either currently or in their background, you know, sort of made for the book. And I also like, you know, certain things that he did in Salem's Lot, like the basement. You know, the way he depicted the basement in Salem's Lot in the beginning of this book, he did so very well with the boiler and how he described the basement. I really did like enjoy in the beginning when they spoke of the hotel and the different rooms and just the overall aesthetic and the feel of the hotel. But one of the things I wanted to hit on was there was like the claustrophobia, like that really got me. And I you know, the feeling of claustrophobia is externalized as dislike for the people you happen to be shut in with. You know, sometimes murder can be done over minor things such as a burned meal or an argument. That especially with COVID and being shut in with my cat, and she's probably just going to kill me. So yeah.
I completely agree with that. Another weird thing that I really liked was how they kind of seemed haunted by certain memories or phrases. Like Wendy, it was from her wedding, right? Like, who gives her away? Like, I do, said her father, that whole concept. I really related to that because I feel like there's certain moments or just like weird phrases in my life too that just kind of like stick with me and come back a lot.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was like a really like, it's a small thing, but I really enjoyed that part of it too.
And I think as we start getting through these books, they start, especially as we get into the 80s, because we're still in the 70s, but as we get into the 80s, all the books start tying together. So then you start finding all these weird Easter eggs and characters that are the same and different names, like the Man in Black, as we get into the Gunslinger and all those, where it's the same person, the same bad guy in all these different books.
That's cool.
So it's pretty interesting. So next question is, who's your favorite character? Obviously Evans was the Overlook. So Alicia, who's your favorite character?
I really enjoy Halloran.
Yeah.
I was probably going to say the Overlook. I thought it was really cool as a character. Second to that would probably be Danny and how he looks inward, but it just didn't feel genuine. I know they like talk like we can't understand like why he's so smart or whatever, but that just kind of felt like a throwaway to me a little bit.
Yeah.
And more just like, why not just make him an older character? Like, I didn't see why he had to be 5, but if I can get over that hurdle of understanding him, then I really liked him as a character.
Yeah,
too.
me too. I love him as a character, and he is in Dr. Sleep, he's Ewan McGregor. So who doesn't love Ewan McGregor, right? So he's a Jedi. He's got all these things going for him.
I'm confused. In Dr. Sleep, they go back to the Overlook?
No, Dr. Sleep is the sequel to this, where he's in his 30s or 40s, obviously Danny, and he starts, after having bouts of alcoholism and all these different things, he starts being aware of the shine again and starts finding other people that have the shine that are reaching out for help.
It said something about the Overlook in the Dr. Sleep synopsis, and I was like, but it blew up. I'm really
No, yeah, it starts obviously with an homage back to the original book, and then it quickly slides into the future of him now, 30 some years later afterwards. His dad's dead, obviously.
So it's interesting what he did with Danny compared to, was it Dan in Salem's Lot? Who was the kid's name in Salem's Lot? Dave. I know the D's are tough.
Yeah.
Salem's Lot, I feel like, it was a confidence of a child. The youth give you that I guess ignorance but confidence, and then in The Shining it's the nightmares of a child. So I think we're looking at two completely contrasting characters, which I thought was pretty cool. Also, I went down a really bizarre rabbit hole in this. Ever since I read Brothers Karamazov, there's a lot of alliteration to the left and the right, whereas I know nothing about the Bible, but apparently, Genesis 3:19 says the left is the sinister side associated with the devil. And for seemingly no reason, just like Jack goes into his back left pocket and pulls out the handkerchief. So I just started noting down pages of where they would mention left and where they would mention right. And I had to give up because I probably got like 40 some odd pages of where they were doing it. But when he writes it, it's seemingly for no reason. Like, why reach out with a right hand? Why reach out with a left hand? So I don't know. There was something that intrigued me.
Yeah, that's pretty
really
cool.
Considering both of you know a lot about religion. I don't know if you know this, Evan, but these two, especially John, are scholars in the subject. So is that like something that you like?
Yeah, I mean, well, that's where the old adage comes that left-handers are evil.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole.
Wow, mind blown.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Who would have thought? And being a Scorpio.
Yeah. Right? Scorpios.
Left-handed Scorpios, stay away from us.
Yeah, I'm surrounded by them. Speaking of which, your birthday's tomorrow, Mr. Scorpio.
My birthday is tomorrow. That is correct.
Happy
Scorpios.
birthday.
Thank you very much.
I'm on Sunday, so we are brothers.
Happy birthday
Scorpios.
to you as well.
Your birthday's
That's
on
nice.
Sunday?
Scorpios everywhere.
You got
my
it.
son's is next Thursday.
Yeah.
Caleb's mom was yesterday. My husband's mom was yesterday.
Are you the 15th, Evan?
Yes.
That's my cousin, and then my brother was November 14th.
Yeah, we got all this whole week locked down.
I bought John a mug, but then I always saw that he used really nice mugs, and it was a cheap mug, and it says other bosses, and it's got like a business license on it, and then it says me or my book, something like that. It's a unicorn on a stripper pole.
Pretty perfect.
We were supposed to bake you like special things, but apparently you have all the things you can eat anyways, like special brownies or something.
I can bring in the oil if you guys want to make
I will bake you whatever you need. I just
brownies.
need the things.
Since we could talk about it
Oh
freely,
yeah, we can talk about it
it's
freely.
legal
We're
in New Jersey.
That's
marijuana
right.
is completely legal in New Jersey.
Yes, so you tell me what dessert item
Yeah, I'll
you
bring
would
it.
like, or
Cool.
I mean, we can get.
Deal.
You guys need to make a special delivery.
We can.
We'll have
Sure
to come
can.
to the office at some point.
Yeah.
Last time I baked something, Alicia has a lot of allergies, and I was like, okay, I'll use bananas because then she can eat everything. And then I bring it in, and then I find out John's allergic to bananas, so it's just like,
Can't win.
I'm used to applesauce this time for me. Evan's cat.
I don't know if you guys see this. Like, this is my own hell of The Shining.
The old Maine Coon in the background just waiting to kill you.
Oh, that's actually Siberian, which makes it
Oh,
even
really?
scarier. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Plotting your death.
Back there just plotting. Yeah. Just waiting for you to turn and kill you. All right. So next question is, if you could ask Stephen King one question about this book, what would it be? And we'll start with Meg this time.
Oh, pressure's on. I mean, not to harp on the same thing, but I would probably ask why he felt the need to make Danny 5 and so literate. Like, was there a reason, like some kind of innocence that you wanted him to be that age?
Yeah.
Or like why was that there? Or did you just have an issue like writing that child, which clearly we know, even though I haven't read them yet, lots of his books have kids from this point on, and I'm assuming that he gets better at writing children. So was this like an actual choice, and if so, why? Would be my first question.
All right, go ahead, Alicia. You might as well go next. It's a good question.
The main question is, has he ever like looked into Freudian psychology? For someone to dig into that, because I feel like they would have a field day.
I'm sure he has. I mean, I'm sure his books have been analyzed ad nauseum at this point. So.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I don't have any. I'd really like to know like what was with the. I feel like there wasn't enough explanation about the hedge animals.
Yeah, that was my question. Like, where were we going
What
with the
happened on
thing?
the playground? Like,
Yeah.
they explain what happened in 217. They explain what happened in the presidential suite. What happened on the playground? What happened with the hedge animals? Why?
I wrote down hedge animals, really? Question mark.
Yeah.
Like it was just, I don't know. But part of that, like when Danny went outside and got stuck in that, in the playground, the snow little tube thing. I don't know if that's the worst description ever, but I don't know if that was alluding to kind of or foreshadowing it with the Danny, come here, like where this figure, he sees or he feels this figure down there.
Yeah, it all floats down here, Georgie. So, does anybody have a favorite quote from the book?
Did you have a question?
Oh, I said mine was about the hedge animals.
Oh.
Yeah, mine was what the fuck with the topiary.
I
I'm getting all my curses in now. Sorry, because I
Okay.
can't curse during
Yeah, you're not allowed
D&D.
to curse during D&D.
Yeah.
I can't think of like one exact sentence, but I really loved what's the chapter? It's where he's trying to get rid of the wasp nest, like wasp something, and I felt like that was Jack, and he like starts going inside his head a little bit, and that's like when he first starts to really like question, I feel, and like lose touch with a lot of reality. And I just thought some of those prose were pretty great and really interesting. My book's like out there, but I should have marked specifics better. But you guys know what section I'm talking about, right?
Actually, Meg, I'm glad you mentioned that. Like, yeah, that was one of the things I actually had earmarked. It just happened to you passively with no say. You ceased to be a creature of the mind and became a creature of nerve endings. From the college-educated man to the wailing ape in 5 easy seconds. I don't know. There's many good quotes, and I wish I underlined more. But the wasps, I mean, there's just something about wasps, right? And being on a roof, and one wasp sting just turns you complete. Like if a wasp is near me, I look like a madman. If you're walking down the street, because I'm spinning in circles, I'm running back and forth. It's just.
I'm deadly allergic to wasps and pretty much never have my EpiPen on me, so I have like an extra little fur.
Yeah, that's not good. Yeah.
No, I should, especially now that there's like killer hornets or murder hornets happening.
Yeah,
Where
well,
are most of them?
Yeah, we don't talk about them yet. Not yet.
Go to Portland.
Yeah, don't go to Portland. Just
Ever.
period.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's really no reason to be there. Yeah.
That's great.
Parents go to Portland next summer, taking my child. Hopefully that Civil War's died down by then.
Yeah, and they're not in the Oregon Trail where everybody's traveling there now with their drugs. So
It's truly the Wild West.
It really is. All right, so let's talk about, as we're getting towards the end here. I don't know. I mean, like, I never really have. I underline so many things in books that by the time I get to the end, I don't really have a favorite. There isn't something that's like that outstanding to me about.
There's nothing that really. I mean, there's stuff that stuck out to me, but there was nothing that I was like, this.
Yeah.
I like this.
Yeah,
I feel like there's a lot of stuff that I felt that way. Reading this there were certain passages where I was just like, man, I don't think I will ever be able to write like this.
Yeah.
Like definitely a lot of that, like renowned. This is king.
And this is 5 years in.
Yeah.
Not 40 and 100
Can we talk
books.
about how it's also kind of amazing that like, so you guys really love Salem Lot, which would be his sophomore novel.
I like Salem's Lot. I don't know the love.
Okay, you liked it a lot, but I think it's pretty easy to say that none of us had strong positive feelings towards Carrie, and so like, it's kind of ironic that his sophomore novel did like so much better than his first like one that really took off. And for me, they've actually just gotten better, which is just really interesting because you normally don't see it that way.
Yeah, we figured we're 3 in and all 3 have major movies.
Crazy.
So like his first 3 books are all and like not little, like there's going to be some books that we read where the movies were like, holy shit, that's the worst movie I've ever seen in my life. But so far, these are all
They're huge
big
movies.
movies.
Big movies.
Yeah, these are not small movies. And The Shining's probably
I've never seen the
Way
movie
up.
Salem's Lot. And then
it's
both
not a
Carrie
great.
and
I haven't seen it
I
either.
watched first.
Salem's Lot I recommend. It's interesting. It's definitely dated. It's in the 70s. So
Yeah, I
Um,
noticed it's on Shudder, and I was going to check it out.
yeah, Bonnie Bedelia's in it from Die Hard, the wife in Die Hard.
Mm.
Oh, wow.
She's the main female character in it. So it's interesting. Yeah, I recommend watching it.
Check
It's
it out.
interesting.
Her watch smells weird, and it's
Oh my
like
God, would you
overtaking
let it
her
go?
life.
No, I can't let
Jesus
it go.
Christ,
Just
Alicia.
take your watch. Side note, did you see that you can get the new Apple Watch for $150 off if you just bought the iPad, which all of us have done?
Well, can
because
somebody
we're
just
on
buy
iPads.
Alicia a fucking band
Yeah, right.
to get past this?
I'm like this close to buying a new Apple Watch, but I've also just bought the iPad and the Apple Pencil and like plus
Just
the
do
whole
it.
like Apple TV. Like Jared might just
Do
like,
it.
throw
Feel
me
good
off
about
a cliff.
yourself. It's
So
all
the
good.
whole social dilemma didn't help you at all with any of these
Nope.
issues, Meg. It's
Nope.
Still in.
I told you while watching The Social Dilemma, I was scrolling Instagram. I am the worst,
It's
and
amazing.
it's all gonna collapse all over us.
It's
I actually,
beautiful.
after watching The Social Dilemma, put like a timer on my phone and like tried to, and it made me actually spend more time on it because I was thinking about how much time I was spending on it. Whereas normally, like, I'm not like that. Like, I don't just sit there and scroll through Facebook or Instagram.
I have a surplus of 30 minutes. Might as well use it.
Which
Yeah.
I blame both of you because I went through whole quarantine without having downloaded TikTok. And I was like, I don't know, I didn't do it. And then both of you were like, yeah, well, you should just get a TikTok.
I mean, it's
and
such a
did,
shit show.
And
Yeah.
now all I do is watch dog videos for hours a day.
I watch people die since I'm on the dark.
Yeah.
The dark
Dark
time.
You're
side.
on the dark side.
On the
I
darkest
was there
time
for a
on.
little bit, and
Yeah.
now I'm back on like the puppies and lesbian side.
Yeah,
That's
that's a
where
way
I'm-
better
I
side.
like the lesbian side of TikTok.
My entire TikTok is just lesbian.
I think it
I've
just
started
assumes-
questioning my entire sexuality.
I'm an
I-
80-year-old man. I have no clue what goes on TikTok or anywhere
You
Yeah.
else.
say that, but spend more time with these two, and you'll finally
It's
download
a-
it. And
it's a trash can.
It's amazing. It's
Yeah.
the best social media platform that's ever existed, and by that I mean it is the worst. Just full time.
Just full trash can. All right, so let's go around the room. We'll start with Evan this time. Where does this rank for you on the Stephen King book so far?
I've still not read Carrie, so based off of what you say, it's not the best. But I mean, compared to Salem's Lot, which is the other that I've read in our little book club iteration, I mean, I'm going to put it right behind there just because, like I said, if I had read this before seeing Kubrick's interpretation of it on screen, I might like it better. But it's just, the movie is just, what he did with that is just too overpowering for me to read this and, deal with the hedge monsters and, random things happening. Or I guess I could say, what is it? Just carte blanche to make up whatever shit you want. And I'm not saying he did it in a bad way, but I like more of, I don't know. Salem's Lot was probably my my higher pick.
I agree. Meg?
I would probably go Shining. A couple pegs below would be Salem's Lot, and then about a mile down.
Lots of room above Carrie.
Yeah, there's quite some space there. But I would say that Shining is just like a little bit more than Salem's Lot for me.
I say Salem's Lot still is the topper, and then this one kind of, hanging out. It's not, there's definitely lots of room before Carrie, but,
I agree.
they're not tough. Like, I enjoyed Salem's Lot. I didn't enjoy this.
I enjoyed it.
I
Salem's
enjoyed
Lot's
it,
still number one for me, but I enjoyed it.
My entire thing was pleasantly surprised. I could not believe I liked it more than the movie. So
Yeah, it's
that was
interesting.
that was pretty like an easy spot for me to go. Mostly because can we talk about in the movie how annoying the character Wendy is?
Yeah.
Like she just sucks. And I know that she's like a battered wife. And you feel
She's
bad, but, like,
supposed to, yeah.
the character is just so annoying. And I feel like there's at least a little bit of redemption in the movie.
I like Flipper with Wendy. I
Uh,
felt like
she's
she was
worse in the movie.
too, like, passive.
She's kind of a doormat, that's for sure. But
Well, she's an abused
yeah, she's an abused woman.
woman. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of.
I mean, yeah, Shelley Duvall. That's who.
Yeah, that's what Shelley about.
And that's it's
Which
the way that
I-
she plays that character. I just couldn't get it out of my head as I'm reading.
Yeah.
But it
Well, that's what
wasn't-
Nicholson do, right? It's
Yeah.
impossible
And
to associate anybody
Yeah.
with Nicholson.
Now I'm
Nice
gonna
job.
watch The Shining.
you should.
It's a good movie.
I will rewatch it. We should have a watching.
I was going to suggest that we do that too. Like, any of these that are movies, we do like a little screening and do it.
Yeah, you guys should probably bake something beforehand and then watch the movie. I think you'll have a new appreciation for it, Meg.
I like the way you're thinking of it. We'll send you.
I might cry.
We'll send you a little package. You can watch a movie with us.
But yeah, I do.
Always up for a special delivery.
It's been a long time since I've seen it. I did read that. What's the director's name? You just
Stanley Kubrick.
Yes. So apparently he loved the character of Jack. Like he's clearly a very big Shining fan, or else he wouldn't have made the movie. But he really loved the character of Jack, and that most of his. This is just what I read. Of course, I've never talked to the man. That most of his energy went into that character, and that's why like Danny barely talks in the movie, and Wendy is like very annoying. So I felt that they were better characters in the book.
Danny, it's weird. Danny actually reminded me of
Your son
which
Klaus?
this might well, I mean at times, but Klaus isn't quite that creepy. No, in Dune, there's a character who is born with all of the knowledge of the universe.
Yeah, it's similar. We're also going to add Dune to our book list.
But that's what brought us
Strap in
Dune.
because that's a little boring.
I haven't read Dune. I'd be all up for that, actually.
Yeah, I'll throw it in the rotation. I'll let you know when we're doing it.
I have no idea where we are with books.
It's fine. You're fine.
I'm just drowning in books between this and my
This
like.
is the story of my life. This
We
is all I
have
do.
3 books in our regular book club right now, which granted, thanks to I pushed hard yesterday. We did Watchmen, by the way, last
I've
night.
already done that one.
And then I pushed hard for another graphic novel. So we do have
Those
one.
are easy. Thank
We
you.
have Mouse,
Yeah.
which came out the same year as Watchmen, and then we're doing The Hunting Party, which is like a thriller mystery fiction book, and then we're doing what is it?
Adventures of Cavalier Clay.
Which is like this thick. So we've already put it on the list, although we're not reading it until December. Which is about like comic books and World War II, but it's supposed to be really, really good.
That's
And
interesting.
that's like not even the books here. So I'm just drowning in books.
It's a story of my whole book.
Speaking of The Hunting Party, like 100 pages in, it is I'd like to classify it as the Shining beach read. Like there's a lot of, similarities between the two. Obviously, we're on 2 completely different tiers of writing, but it's a beach read that gives me a little bit of a feeling of The Shining, having just read that.
That's hilarious.
Well, if either of you would like to read it and join us, by all means.
I might jump in on that one. So anyway, so our next are we doing our next Stephen King one? Are we doing Rage?
We're doing Rage.
There you go.
Oh yeah.
All right, good.
Rage,
So,
a high school show and tell session explodes into a nightmare of evil.
Evan, can
That's
I grab
as
your
much as
copy
I know.
when you're done? I didn't find one.
Absolutely.
nice.
So if we can do that, then yeah.
We have an audio one too. I found an audio one, so
Oh,
I
nice.
can send you that as well.
Okay.
All right, cool. So we're doing Rage, and then I think after Rage is The Stand, I believe.
I'm
Nice.
very excited for this.
Stand is my
Very
favorite
excited.
Stephen King book of all time. Strap in, kids, because that's fucking long.
Lovely.
I think it is. Let me double check.
Yeah, and plus, Rage is only 170 pages. In
Rage is going to be
size, so
super
that's Rage
quick.
right there. The Stand, it's funny. I don't know much about it. I know of the movie. I know they're doing something new with it. But,
There's a new series on it.
definitely looking forward to it. And I think Joe was always asking about that, The Stand, so he might be interested when we do that.
I think I told you how my friend Matt started a music album discovery one. So all of my worlds are just clashing together at this point because I got Evan to join the music one, and now we've got like 2 people from the music one who have hopped into our book club.
That's amazing.
That's why I'm just gonna get you guys joined.
Get the whole circle. So it's Rage is December 10th, and then The Stand is January 7th, which is perfect because that's a great one to read over the holiday break because that is about 1,100 pages.
No pressure, but our other book clubs meet December 16th and January 6th. So
Wow.
like strap.
Yeah,
It's
on
always
my birthday.
Boom.
January 6th.
No, December 16th.
Yeah.
Yeah. I believe it's December 16th, but it always seems that it's whatever the day before this book. So my Tuesday before this is always just like
Books. All right,
It's
everyone.
It's 5 before the new year that I got to read, and this is going to be tough,
That's
but I'm going to get it done.
You can do it. All right, everyone. So check us out on social media at Bite Size Social. If you go to our website, which is bitesizedigital.com, there's a fun stuff section where you can see what books are upcoming sometimes when we actually update it. So our next book for our book club is Grieve Peril, correct?
We just skipped full moon.
We skipped full moon because Meg didn't finish that in time.
I did not finish that.
So we will be doing.
I was also complaining about that book yesterday. That's
Grave
how
Peril.
I started it and hated it.
Yeah, that's all right. Grave Peril, that'll be on November 26th, and then we will be doing Rage, and then Summer Night and The Stand.
Is November 26th Thanksgiving?
Yeah, Alicia, if you don't want to take a quick half hour away from your family on Thanksgiving and talk
I'm
about
boycotting Thanksgiving
Jim Butcher.
because my grandmother has not removed the flag outside of her house yet.
That's amazing.
So
That's what Thanksgiving's all about. It's all about dealing with these things one day a year.
Yep.
I'm not
Hatred,
COVID
divisiveness,
to hang out with people I don't like.
COVID-19, and book clubs.
Yeah. And my one uncle is an elementary school teacher who they're in hybrid learning. I'm not doing it.
Nope. All right. So anyway, we'll see everybody in a few weeks. Everybody enjoy Thanksgiving because we are definitely not having a book club on Thanksgiving. So we will do that the day before or the day after. And otherwise, Evan, we will see you in a few weeks for Rage.
Looking forward to it.
And this will be the first Stephen King book that wasn't originally a Stephen King book. It will be a Richard Bachman one.
Richard Bachman.
Yeah, it's one of the Bachman books. So there you go. All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us, Evan. I will talk to you soon. Have a good one.